Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Codeman Movies. It's been a couple weeks, I apologize for that. Been exploring my community, I guess I should say, and just, still getting adjusted to the area, getting back to work after my sprained ankle, taking care of Chester. He's down here. He was kind of a naughty boy today, so he is enjoying freedom because I've had him in the kennel because, well, he's been very naughty. He's been breaking things and just being a turd, so... yeah, he's down here hanging, chilling, but, taking care of him, just getting everything situated. It's been crazy lately, but yeah, we're here to talk about movies, so let's talk about some movies here, guys. I got my iPad. Oh, first of all, though, grab your drink. I'm actually drinking an alcoholic beverage today. I'm drinking the Brewing Project's Ooey Gooey Peanut Butter and Jelly Sour. I really enjoy this beer. It's so good. I miss the Brewing Project. I have one Brewing Project left. And it's my favorite of all of them. And I don't want to drink it, but I'm going to have to drink it eventually. Oh, so good. I almost broke my TV there. Did you see that? That's scary. Oh, I also need to take my vitamins. I have a couple vitamins I was going to take with this. You're not supposed to take vitamins with alcohol, but I'm going to. Oh, woo! Yummy. Yummy, 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 yummy. Yummy. That's good. All right, guys. Let us get started on this, shall we? I have a lot to talk about. Don't know if I'm going to get through all of them. Hopefully get another one out soon. I'm not going to say I'm going to like this weekend because life has been so crazy. And I hope I can get 2 out per week, but I'm lucky if I get 1 out per week at this point. So yeah, guys. But let's get started. Let's get started with game night, guys. I watched this movie because it is the same directors of Dungeons & Dragons, so I wanted to rewatch this one. I remember when this movie came out, I really enjoyed it quite a bit. It is such an interesting little dark comedy. Absolutely enjoy it. If you've not seen this movie, it's basically about a group of people that get together for a game night. And one night, one member of the group says, hey, we're going to play a murder mystery kind of game. And things get out of control when the murder mystery actually becomes real. And it actually is not a mystery. It's for real. It's happening. And not everyone knows it. Things go crazy. Very interesting dark comedy. I really enjoy this movie a lot, guys. This movie is so beautifully shot. It's just so amazingly shot. There's a shot towards the beginning of the movie where it looks like it's on a game board and it goes into actual houses and it just looks incredible. I want to know how exactly it did that because it's just so incredible. The dark humor in this movie is so great. There's scenes with Rachel McAdams and a gun that just is hilarious. Jason Bateman with a dog in a certain scene, just fantastic. So hilarious. Insane, but hilarious. And I just love how much effort was put into this comedy movie of making it look pretty, essentially. It looks so wonderful. And I just love the effort that was put into it. I've been getting really bad at looking up cinematographers before doing this, and I don't know who shot this film, but they did such a great job with it. I think all the actors in this movie, too, kind of know what kind of movie they're in. They do know this is a little over the top, a little, it is a comedy, but they also know it's kind of dark and crazy, and I do love that aspect of it. Some of the characters are just really stupid, though. The scene, like I said, with Jason Bateman's dog is great, but what Jason Bateman does in the scene is just really stupid. The things he does is just dumb. At the same time, though, I do love these characters. These characters are all at kind of like different points in their lives, and I just love where they're at. I love their development. Some of them are a little underdeveloped. The one character is just a complete idiot. But yeah, I love quite a few of these characters. They're quite fun, quite silly, but it's so much fun. And the movie is just really funny. The chemistry between everyone is really good. I think everyone has great chemistry. It is just so much fun. The ending gets a little, I hate this thing nowadays where movies think that they need to have this big like action sequence, people are going to die possibly thing at the end of the movie. I just don't think it's necessary. A comedy needs to be a comedy. That's it. Dumb and Dumber, while it does kind of have action sequences, I mean, it ends with two guys just walking down the road. It's nothing crazy big. Yes, there's a guy who might possibly, I mean, Lloyd gets shot, for God's sakes, but it's nothing too crazy. And I think movies nowadays, with comedies especially, are just trying to go crazy, and there's no reason to do that. Game Night, though, guys, I really enjoy this movie. As far as things I don't like, it is a little too long. Comedy should just be like a tight hour and a half. This movie is almost 2 hours. There are just a couple characters that are a little stupid, ridiculous. For the most part, this movie's incredible. There's this one shot scene with the egg that is so beautifully done and so incredible, and I absolutely love it. This is just a really solid movie, guys. I'm gonna give this one an 8 out of 10. It is such a great, solid movie. If you have not seen Game Night, check it out. Check it out with a group of people. It's a lot of fun. Excuse me, Chester. It's a good boy. Yeah. Needs another bit of beer. Next up, guys, Gone Baby Gone. Started to watch the Ben Affleck movies since Air came out. And did at the box office. If you haven't seen Air, go see Air. That movie deserves a little bit more attention than it's getting. But yeah, decided to watch Ben Affleck's other movies. Starting with Gone Baby Gone. What is on my arm? Oh, I think it's just a scab. Anyways, guys, starting with Gone Baby Gone. This is an extremely strong directorial debut from Ben Affleck. He did such a great job directing this movie. This movie is filled with lots of tension, lots of drama. You do see where this is his first film. There's some moments that don't necessarily work out. All the acting is superb in this. All the characters are great in this. Cinematography, for the most part, looks fantastic in this movie. There are points that it does look bland, though, and cheap, and it has kind of a boring feel to it at times. There are some moments that are beautifully shot and done, and then just other moments that are very bland and boring with the way it looks. I think the pacing in this movie as well can be a little it feels longer than it is. It feels like a 2.5 hour drama when it's only 2 hours. I know some people think this is Ben Affleck's best. I think this is not his weakest. Well, the weakest of the ones I've seen, I guess. I haven't seen, what is it, Live by Night? I have yet to see it. I've heard such things about it that I don't want to see it almost, because I think Ben Affleck just has such a great track record with his directorial efforts, and I don't want to watch it. Action sequences are very poorly done in this movie, in my opinion. They are so chop edit and just not so great. It doesn't have the best flow to it. It feels very like this is his first time directing. Solid effort, don't get me wrong, but it feels like it's his first movie that he's directed. I also find some pacing issues with this one. It feels a lot longer than it actually is. The ending, though, is phenomenal in this movie. What we find out happens, if I didn't say what this movie's about, I should have said that what the movie's about is this girl goes missing. The girl's mom is a terrible mother and doesn't seem to really care, and the girl kind of goes missing. I do need to read this book. This is a book I think I'm going to have to check out soon because it is a solid movie. And what happens with the ending, what we find out happens is very interesting. And there is kind of a moral question in this of, should this happen? Should this happen? What is best? And it's really interesting and really cool. And I did find myself asking myself these questions. And it was really interesting to me of what should happen and what will happen. And yeah, it's really interesting. Not my favorite Ben Affleck's, like I said. Probably the weakest of the ones I've seen. But it's still a really solid movie. And if you haven't checked out Gone Baby Gone, I recommend it. Don't you dare go to the window and start barking at that dog. Chester doesn't love dogs. We need to get him better at it. Good job. Good job, bud. That was a good boy. That was good. That was a good boy. You did good that time. Good job. Good job, Chester. He doesn't like dogs. We're getting better at it. We'll get there. Gone Baby Gone, guys. I'll give this one like a 7 out of 10. It's good. I just don't love this movie. So, Gone Baby Gone. Next up, guys, Ben Affleck's next movie, The Town. This is my favorite movie of his that he's done so far. It is so good. Just incredible. The opening of first of all, I gotta get better at describing what these movies are too, in case you haven't seen them. What The Town is about is basically these group of bank robbers go and rob this bank, end up taking one of the bank tellers hostage and bringing her to the beach and leaving her there. And then basically it is about the cops trying to figure out who are these bank robbers. And things kind of go from there. It is such a wonderfully done movie. This movie is directed so beautifully by Ben Affleck. It looks fantastic. Characters are so perfect in this movie. All the acting performances are great. Ben Affleck does such a good job. John Hamm does great. Rebecca Hall's great. Blake Lively is kind of nothing in this movie. I'm kind of glad she's out of the limelight at this point. Jeremy Renner, such a great job. Did he get nominated for this one? I think he might have got nominated for this movie. Can't remember. Chris Cooper's great. Who's Pete Post? I don't know who that one is. Everyone does great, though. Everyone really does such a solid job. So the opener of the bank robbery is amazing. It is so well shot, so well done. The tension is great. You feel like you are Rebecca Hall in this scene, and it's just perfect. It's done so well. Just so great. It just really is. And like I said, all the acting is so good, and it just works fantastic. Love the tension and the chemistry between all these actors. The scenes with Rebecca Hall and Ben Affleck are so great. And it just incredible scenes. I love this kind of like a love letter to Boston, where Ben Affleck is from. I love the accents and such like that. I just think it's great. The editing in this movie is so fantastic and superb. I love the acting in these scenes. I think it works so great. Pacing is also really great in this movie too. It mixes action sequences with drama so very well, and it just does such a great job of flowing. I absolutely love it. So many great scenes of just breath holding. The bank at the beginning, bank scene's beginning is so great, and even the end with how it ends. There's moments where I'm holding my breath. I love that about it. Just a great, solid film all the way around. I absolutely love this movie. I'm going to give this movie a 9 out of 10. It is such a great movie. I love this movie so much. Incredible. And I do have the big collector's box for this one. I love it. I love this movie. Come on. There we go. My gesture's being good. Next up, guys, we have Argo, the movie that won Best Picture in 2013. Again, directed by Ben Affleck, starring Ben Affleck as well. The movie is about this true story of a man and a group of people who decided to, well, first of all, there was people who were stuck in, I believe it's Iran, I forget, stuck in a country that's not in the U.S., and the U.S. was trying very desperately to get them out. Basically, Ben Affleck's character, a group of other people, decide to pretend they're going to make this movie, and that he and these people held hostage in this country are members of this movie cast, scouting locations, and they're going to get them out of the country by saying, hey, that we are making this movie, and that's how they get out. Such an incredible, interesting, true story that was, declassified, as it says. It's just insane. It really is insane that this actually happened. It is such a good movie. First of all, the big thing we have to talk about is the cast. The cast is so good in this movie. Ben Affleck, Bryan Cranston, Alan Arkin, John Goodman, all of them are phenomenal in this movie. Everyone does such a great job. Ben does such an amazing job in this movie. And it is kind of different compared to his other movies. This movie doesn't really have action sequences per se. There's definitely moments of suspense, and it feels thrilling and like it is almost an action sequence, which is great, and it is wonderful. Definitely moments where I'm holding my breath, wondering what's going to happen. And you do worry for these people, even though you know what happens. Um, the movie's being made. We do know that these people got out safely. And it's incredible. It really is incredible that this actually happened. The ending of this movie is my biggest issue with the movie. It does take me out a little bit. You see men running through the airport trying to chase him down and running onto the runway trying to chase down this plane. And you just know that's not how it went. You know that is completely unrealistic. And it's done for dramatic effect. I don't think it was needed, though. I just don't think that part was fully needed. The idea of these people going into the airport thinking they could get caught at any point in time was all that was needed. We don't need this kind of action sequence at the end. So the ending does take me out of this one, as well as some of the pacing. This movie is 2 hours long. It does feel longer than 2 hours long. And I think a little bit could have been taken out. I really do feel that. What else can I say? I think this is a great movie. Such a solid movie. I do think it was deserved the Best Picture. It wouldn't have been the one I would pick. I think I would have picked Django that year, or what else came out that year? Lincoln, Les Miserables. No, I think I would go Django out of all of them. I think that would have been my number one pick to have won Best Picture that year. But I think it deserved. Oh, excuse me. I think it deserved its Oscar for sure for Best Picture. Yeah. But all around, it's just a solid movie. It really is a great movie, and yeah. As far as Ben Affleck's movies go, my ranking, I have not seen Live by Night. That's probably going to be the lowest of low, though, if I ever did see it, from what I hear. So after that, then it would be Gone Baby Gone. Then it would be probably Argo, Air, and then The Town. But still, 3 out of 4 movies that he has directed, and they're all really good. Good for you, Ben Affleck. You're doing great. Just great movies. This is a great movie. I love this movie. Next up, guys, Motorcrossed. For Film Club, we had the category of Disney Channel original movies. And it was a category that I really was not looking forward to, because Disney Channel original movies all seem to be kind of crappy, which my film group got very mad at me for saying. I guess I just don't have the nostalgia for these Disney Channel original movies. I remember seeing this at my babysitter's and thinking then that this movie is very eh. And this movie is very eh, in my opinion. If you have not seen this movie, basically, this girl has a brother who is going to be racing in this dirt bike motocross race thing. He ends up breaking his leg, can't do it. And so she decides to cut her hair and say, I am my brother. And so she has to be a boy training for the motocross. What can I say about this movie? This movie is extremely cheesy and cliche and definitely of its time. Half this movie is just stuntmen and women. I don't know, maybe it was just men, I don't know. Doing stunts, doing dirt bike stunts. Half this movie is just, just montages of dirt bikes. And then you have, yes, a really good female story of a woman doing what the men do, which is great. I do support that. I do like that. But it's just so cliche, so terribly acted. Her love interest is so over the top. Her brother's just terrible. Her parents are awful. Just awful acting all the way around. Her dad's just an awful, arrogant, awful person. I don't like him. You know exactly what's going to happen in this movie too. It's very predictable, very cliche, like I said. And I don't love this movie. I really don't. We had a lot of talk in the chat about how the boyfriend in this movie is bi. There's definitely moments that definitely seem like that. Maybe he's into guys too a little bit. Yeah, it seems like my film group really enjoyed this movie, thought this movie was a banger. I did not feel that way at all. I'm just not into this. I don't know. It's a bad movie in my opinion. This is full-fledged a bad movie. Moments are fine. For a Disney Channel original movie, it's fine. If I were to give this like the Disney Channel original movie rating, I give it like a 5 out of 10. For me though, I'm gonna give it like a 3 out of 10. It's not a good movie. This is just very eh. I love that it's a strong female lead. That's great. But other than that, it's so predictable, so cliche, so cheesy, and didn't need it. Next up, guys, Super Mario Bros. Movie. This movie is killing it at the box office. It's like the 3rd best week of all time for an animated movie. And it is just doing so well. I remember watching the trailers in the theater and going, I'm thinking this could be like the Lego Movie. The thing that concerned me was that there's Illumination with the Minions, which I don't love the Minions movies. They kind of suck. Despicable Me 1 and 2 are great, but other than that, I don't think they've really made a solid animated movie. So I was also concerned. This movie's kind of in the middle of that. It's not quite as smart, quick-witted, as funny as the Lego Movie, but it's not as bad as the Minions. It's just very eh. This movie feels like an Easter egg leading to another Easter egg, leading to another Easter egg, leading to another Easter egg. It's just a bunch of Easter eggs loosely connected, and that's it. I mean, the story is just kind of there. There's kind of nothing to it, which I guess for a kid's movie is fine, but I struggle because I think this movie could have been a Lego movie. I really do. And I think in the right hands, it could have been an amazing movie. And instead, it's just very forgettable movie, really. It's just reference after reference after reference after reference, which if you're not into video games like I am, you just don't care that much. And that does suck. It's not bad. It's very bland and boring. The animation's fine. Some of the humor works, and then other moments it's just, really? Funny. Kids will think that's funny. It's a kid's movie. Kids are going to like it, I guess. Kids have been liking it seems. And, it's just, voice cast is fine. It's just fine. It's so middle of the road. It's so bland. It does look good. It has beautiful animation. There's some fun moments, but it's just kind of boring. I found myself just going, okay, I get it. I watched that. It came out like, this is my birthday weekend that I saw this movie. I guess I don't hate myself for seeing it on my birthday. There's been worse movies on my birthday. That's about all I got to say about it, really. I'll give this one a 5 out of 10. It's fine. I don't hate myself for watching it, but at the same time, it would be better to see. There's been better birthday movies that I've seen on my birthday, so yeah, let's leave it at that. Next up, guys, George Lopez. I watched the entire 6 seasons of George Lopez. I don't know why I have been into 90s shows and 80s shows in the last year or two, but I have been for some reason. And I remember I remember this show being on when my parents watched it. I guess I didn't really describe, I didn't really describe the plot of Super Mario Bros. You guys don't care. You know what the plot is. Luigi gets kidnapped. George Lopez, the plot of George Lopez. Basically, George Lopez is a factory worker. He's the manager. He's just been promoted as manager. And it's about him and his family and his life, essentially. Him and his family. That's what really it's about. It's 6 seasons. Yeah. I think I've been drinking today. Anyways. So yeah, I remember our parents not liking us watching this show. My parents were overprotective. There's really nothing terrible about this show too much. Yes, it talks about sex. That should be something that teenagers watch so they understand what it is and that they understand when the right time to do it is blah, 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 blah. My parents were just overprotective, and which is funny because George Lopez and his wife are extremely overprotective at times to the point that their kids go bad. And that's something I find really interesting. Carmen and Max are not good kids. Quite a bit of time in this movie. And it goes to show, if you are so overprotective with your kids, and in my opinion, this is all my opinion, if you're overprotective with your kids and you don't let go of that leash just a little bit, you don't allow them to roam and sniff. If you take your dog out for a stroll and you don't allow your dog to smell, you just stroll. I'm not saying the W word because if he hears it, he'll get excited. But if you don't let your dog stroll and smell, they're not going to be truly happy, and they're going to want to pull and do the things that bad dogs do. Same thing with kids, in my opinion. And this show kind of shows that. This show does have some really great moments of humor that I did enjoy. Definitely some great family moments, some heart at times. I did love quite a few characters in it, even though it's a little ridiculous, over the top at times. I do not love the relationship between George Lopez and his mother. It's really weird how there's some episodes where he hates his mother, and he should. His mom is this alcoholic, non-caring parent, did not care about him. But then there's other times where he's like, I gotta help my mom, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to help her. And it's like, so you do love your mom? Because at other episodes, you seem to really hate her. And I understand why you hate her. So it's really hard for me to go, okay, yes, you need to help your mom. You need to love your mom. No, you don't. She's a bitch. You know? Like, I hate her. So I didn't always love that. I love the flashbacks in this show, though. It has George Lopez's big adult head on a little kid body. That's absolutely great. It's so funny and it works. And I also love that we see a man who didn't go to college, who is a factory worker, who's made his way up the ladder, and showing the struggles of not being very rich necessarily, but still giving the family what they need. This is a show my parents need to watch because they were overprotective. And my parents had much more money than the George Lopez family has. I can guarantee that. And the George Lopez family still have a life. They still do things. They still, have great, they still enjoy their lives. Whereas my parents were miserable and lived like they're poor because they wanted to retire at 45. And now they're just rich in their house doing nothing because they have 40 or more years of life and they need to save up money and not spend money. So they're not living life at all, and it's pathetic to me. So yeah, this has been more of a rant about my family life. But yeah, George Lopez, this is a solid show. I feel like a lot of shows in the 90s and 80s didn't have like a definitive ending, which is interesting. This kind of has an ending to it, but it doesn't, it's like, okay, it just felt like it could have been the end of another season. I don't know if they were trying to make another season after this, and it just didn't work out. Carmen, the actress who plays her, left after the 6th season. She didn't want to be a part of the show anymore. I don't know what exactly was behind the scenes with that, but overall, this show's fine. It's nothing spectacular. I don't hate it. I don't love it. I'll give this show like a 6 out of 10. I'll never rewatch it, but there are some really great fun moments. There is some really great heart to it, and overall, I enjoy it. Yeah, 6 out of 10. It's fine. What are we at on time here? I don't want to go too long. We can go at least do another one. Next up, guys, Lego Batman movie. I saw this movie because the director of this movie directs Reinfield, another movie that's out new this, within this last month, I guess, or on my birthday, actually. We'll talk about that in a second, actually. Anyways, guys, Lego Batman. I love the Lego movie, and I was so excited for Lego Batman. Batman is my favorite character of all time. I love Batman. He's such a great character. And I was very, very excited for this movie. While this movie is not as good as the Lego movie, it is still such a good movie. I love this movie so much. Plot of this movie, Lego Batman needs to take down Joker and deal with his commitment issues. I don't know, his family issues. He needs to deal with he needs some therapy. I don't know. It's such an interesting movie, guys. The humor in this movie is so great. Right from the get-go, this movie opens with Batman narrating, Warner Brothers, Rat Pack, that's cool. Logos are very cool. And it's just, his narration is so great. Just everything, I just love Batman as a character. Will Arnett does such a great job as Lego Batman. I think he's honestly, I think he should be talked about more with voicing this character. He clearly had so much fun and did such a great job with this version of Batman, and I love it. I remember seeing this at the drive-in, and it was just such a great experience, and I just absolutely loved it. The idea that it is a kid's movie, so it is a family film, but the idea that it's about family and moving forward, dealing with loss, blah, 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 that kind of stuff is just great. I absolutely love that. I love that Alfred is really involved in this. Because it's animated, an old guy can fight crime, and it is awesome that Alfred is like a part of the fights. I love that. The cameos in this movie are great. Not just the voice acting cameos. You got Jonah Hill, Channing Tatum like you did in the first one. But really just the movie references. You got Wizard of Oz, you got Lord of the Rings, you got who else? I'm trying to remember them all. There's so many. Harry Potter. So many different references in this movie, and it's hilarious, and it works within the confines of this movie and the universe. Absolutely love it. It's so silly, it's so dumb, but it's so much fun, and the humor is just so perfect. I laugh every time I watch this movie. And I also love that like it references other Batman movies, and Batman is almost like Deadpool in a sense in this movie, in the sense that like he can break the third wall and talk about other versions. The scene where Alfred's like, you've had the same issue in 2016 and 2012 and 2008, 2005. It goes through all the Batman movies. It's just great. I love that, and I just love it. This is like a love letter to Batman. It's such a good movie, guys. I love Lego Batman so much. I'm going to give this movie 8 out of 10, guys. It's so much fun. Always be yourself, unless you can be Batman. Then be Batman, guys. I love this movie so much. It's so good. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep going a little bit. About a 45-minute episode today, guys, because I want to get as much of these done as I can. Next up, guys, is Reinfield. A movie I was very excited for. Came out the same week as my birthday. Nicolas Cage has wanted to play Dracula forever, and he just seems like the perfect actor to play Dracula. I think that casting's perfect. Saw the trailer for this, super excited. Saw the movie, not as excited. Basically, if you don't know what the movie is we have Dracula, and he has his assistant Reinfield, and Reinfield decides that, you know what, this relationship's very toxic, and I need to get out of it. Interesting premise. Too bad the entire movie is not that. It is that in about half the movie. The other half is Awkwafina dealing with mob bosses and cops that are working with the mob. That's what the other half of the movie is, and it's something we've seen 1,000 times, and it's something we don't care about in this movie. When you have Nicolas Cage playing frickin' Dracula, and you got Nicholas Hoult playing fucking fricking fudging Reinfield. This premise was just wasted, and I hated it. Nicolas Cage, Nicholas Hoult's chemistry, absolutely fantastic. Awkwafina's chemistry with everybody, fantastic. I like Awkwafina's character. I like her humor. I just wish that the movie was more about what the trailer had promised would be, of this toxic relationship between Dracula and his assistant, and then Awkwafina could come in there and say, hey, you need to get out of this, kind of thing. I think it would have been so much better if it had just stuck with that, but it doesn't. It does this other stuff that you just don't care about. The first half of the movie, it was really solid, and when Nicolas Cage is on screen, he's great. But it just doesn't fully work. The ending has this thing that happens that's just ridiculous. And you knew it was coming because they say it 157 times throughout the movie, and it's just I didn't like that bit necessarily. I think for the most part though, if you take out Awkwafina's backstory stuff with her family and the cops, this movie would have been so much better. Just find a way to make this more of a comedy drama with Reinfield and Dracula. This movie's also ridiculous, over the top with its bloody, gory, awesome violence. That's cool too. That's great. You can totally do that. And you can do it while still keeping it in the story that it wants to be telling and not the one we got. Yeah, guys, I was really disappointed by this movie. There's some really great funny moments. Nicolas Cage is great. I will rewatch this movie again just to see Nicolas Cage as Dracula because it's great. But the movie itself is very and I'm just going to give this one a 5 out of 10. It's not that great. I wanted it to be so much better, and I'm so disappointed in this movie. It might be one of the most disappointing movies of the year so far for me. I was expecting so much more with this. With how much Nicolas Cage has talked about wanting to play Dracula, it should have been so much better. And I just, could have been so good. Next up, guys, Cocaine Bear. I rewatched this movie. It's on Peacock, so I thought, why not? I really enjoyed this movie in the theater. I did not enjoy my experience in the theater as people were talking, the voice texting on their cell phones and calling people on their cell phones. And also, while doing that on their cell phones, telling the person on the other side of the phone the exact plot of the movie with everything that happened in the movie. Annoying as hell, but I still enjoyed the movie. I still really enjoy this movie, even watching it at home, guys. It's not a great movie, but it is fun. The premise is interesting enough. It's not really a horror movie, but a dark comedy, maybe, I guess you could say. And it does have great comedic, dark moments that I enjoy. The characters in the opening, you can just take them right out. They show up, or the one shows up towards the middle, more the end of the movie, and then it's just kind of off screen, gone, and it doesn't work. There's that weird flashback that does not work. Why is it flashback? Just have it be what happens, and then the next scene show. I don't know. That was just weird. It's not the best directed film. Elizabeth Banks isn't a director that, I don't know, she needs to go take a directing class or something. She's not quite great yet. She needs to do better. Also, there's the twist with this cop. Just take that right out. There's no point to that. It's just there and gone. I mean, there's the twist, and then it happens, and then they just leave. And again, why? Why did they need to be in there? Finale isn't the greatest. Things happen and you jump off waterfalls. There's no point to it. But I think at the end of the day, this movie works as a dumb 80s dark comedy. The bear stuff is great. When the bear's killing, it's gruesome and over the top and crazy. And there are comedic moments. The bit with the gazebo thing, absolutely great. And the movie knows what it is. The movie opens with a frickin' Wikipedia quote. I mean, it knows that it's not exactly a great movie. It knows it's this dark comedy, and it works. It's crazy, it's dumb, it's fun. I think I gave this movie a 7 out of 10. I'm gonna stick with that 7 out of 10. It's, for what it is, it's fun. Is it a great movie? No. But it's fun. I enjoy this movie quite a bit for what it is, the dark horror comedy that it is, and I just think that it really works. Even though, not everyone thinks that way, and that's fine. Movies are subjective, so. Next up, guys, Hereditary. Ari Aster's new movie is coming out, which I have not seen yet. I'm thinking I'm going to go see it tomorrow or tonight. I haven't quite decided yet. It's a 3-hour-long movie, so that's a commitment. So yeah, we'll see. But I wanted to rewatch his other movies. Both movies I have seen only once in theaters, and that is it. So Hereditary, I believe, was 2018 I saw this movie. And I remember walking out of this movie thinking, beautifully done, movie, as far as the story goes. After watching this movie again, it's beautifully done, a very movie in my opinion. I will say this though, the movie stuck with me. I saw this back in 2018, and I remembered pretty much everything that happened in this movie, scene for scene. I remembered every bit of it. It has stuck in my mind, and that is a positive. I will say that. That's a very big positive. It is shot so incredibly. Again, I need to get better at getting cinematographer's name. I don't know the cinematographer. So beautifully shot. This movie with the doll houses and then showing like this, you can tell they kind of filmed it on a set so that it looked like a dollhouse essentially, and it's done so beautifully. The atmosphere and the house as a character itself is just done so well. And I absolutely love this poster too. It's so great. Everything with his sister and that one particular scene, if you've seen this movie, you know what I'm talking about. The scene with the sister and just how it does not show anything. And how you almost go, you think to yourself, they're not going to show it. Oh, wow, this is incredible. They're not showing it, but you feel it, you can see it, and then they do show it. And it doesn't ruin it. You still felt that tension. And then when you see it, you go, wow, that just made it even more impactful. And the first half of this movie is just really great. And then it gets into this Pygmalion mythology, whatever crap, and I think that's where it goes off the hill for me. I hate that it gets into this mythological crap. Like, it could have been this realistic family horror drama, and it's not. I love the talk with mental illness. Toni Collette's character, her family, her brother having schizophrenia, her mother just crazy and psycho and all this crap. I just think it would have worked without this Pygmalion crap. I didn't think any of that was needed, and it ruins the movie for me. Definitely some great scary moments though. The scene with the sister, the scene with Toni Collette on the door of the attic banging her head, the fire, all that stuff is great. It's just this Pygmalion crap that I don't love. I just can't stand it. Acting all around is amazing. Toni Collette should have been nominated for this. Because it's a horror, she wasn't. And that's stupid. She should have been nominated. It's so good. It's a little too crazy with the Pygmalion stuff, but I respect this movie so much. And I can say that it is a really good movie. This is a movie I will rewatch every time a new Ari Aster movie comes out. I don't think I'm ever going to like this movie. Well, like I say, I don't think I'm ever going to love this movie the way a lot of people do. I do like this movie, though. It is so beautifully crafted, so beautifully done, so beautifully acted. And it is a beautiful family drama. When it works, it works. When it doesn't, it just doesn't for me. And I hate it when it's not working. This is a really solid movie. It really is. I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10. If I did 0.5, I think it would go 6.5. I don't do 0.5s. You need to decide, is it a 6 or a 7? For me, it's a 7. It's such a solidly made movie in technical aspects that I have to give this movie a 7 out of 10. I just have to. Next up, guys, Midsommar. Again, another movie I saw in theaters, 2019. I'm just going to break my TV today, I swear to God. And it is a movie that has stuck with me. This movie has stuck with me so much. If you've not seen this movie, a group of college kids go to Sweden to experience the culture of this Midsommar event. And the main character, played by Florence Pugh, is going through some stuff, to say the least. She's going through some big stuff that has happened in her life. And things go from there. It is such a crazy movie. And like I said, I didn't love Hereditary. I really do like this movie a lot. It is such a good movie. Again, it is so well shot. So beautiful. Everything feels so... It feels like everything has a purpose and a meaning, and I love that. I just can't believe how much this movie stuck with me. This movie is 2 hours and 40 minutes, and I just remembered every scene. There was nothing that I was like, oh, I forgot about this scene. Nothing. I remember everything, every detail. And that is something that's so awesome when, this movie came out 5 years ago now? It's crazy to think that I remember a movie that came out 5 years ago. I remember every goddamn detail about it. It's so amazing. The tension in this movie. The opening of this movie is incredible, and how it builds. And the thing that you see happens is just, oh my God. And that's just a lot of scenes in this movie. There's so many oh my God moments that happen in this movie, but I love it. the relationships between all these characters are very interesting and unique. A lot of characters that I don't like in this movie. And some of them that I don't like to the point that it makes the movie, it takes away points for me on my scale. But then there's just like the relationship between Florence Pugh's character and her boyfriend is such an interesting relationship. And you kind of see both sides. You definitely side with another side more, but such an interesting relationship. And I also love that I love that this movie is about discovering a different culture, but at the same time dealing with grief and processing grief and such like that. I think it mixes those two tones quite well. It's just so interesting and so messed up at times, and I absolutely love it. It's so cool. I really want to see the director's cut of this. There's like a 3-hour cut of this movie, and I want to see it. I need to like rent it or something like that, because it's something that I find interesting. Which is interesting also as well, because I also find one of my negatives with this movie, besides some characters, is that it's maybe a bit too long. There's some moments I think could just be cut out that's just there to be purdy. So it's interesting that I want to see a longer version of this movie. I just want to see if it comes together better. I think of Batman vs. Superman, though. The theoretical cut, it feels too long. The director's cut feels better paced. It feels shorter, even though it's a half-hour longer, even though it's a 3-hour-long movie. It's insane how that works sometimes. And I think maybe that could be the case for this movie if I follow. And I think, from what I've read, the director's cut is like NC-17. Basically, they took out all the stuff that just couldn't go into a theater. If that's the case, and it is kind of like a Batman versus Superman situation, I think I could see myself liking this movie even more. But yeah, guys, this movie's so great. It's so crazy. It's definitely a slow burn, and it builds, and it builds. It feels very much like The Shining, and I think that's kind of why I like it. Nothing is happening throughout the first part of this movie, but you know something's going to happen. Everything's going to build, and then boom. And this movie does that. It does it so well, and I absolutely love it. I just cannot believe some of the things in this movie, and it's incredible. I'll give this movie an 8 out of 10. I really do enjoy this movie quite a bit, which is weird to say because it is so flipping crazy. And we're gonna make this an hour-long episode. Why not? Let's get this stuff finished, shall we? We have 3 more movies to talk about. We might as well talk about them. Next up, guys, She's the Man. This is a movie that has been talked about in Film Club. We talked about it specifically with Motorcrossed because it's essentially the exact same premise. A girl has a twin brother. Twin brother is gone. Girl wants to be on the soccer team with the guys. And then, of course, everyone has a secret. Duke wants Olivia, who likes Sebastian, who is really Viola, whose brother is dating Monique, so she hates Olivia, who's with Duke to make Sebastian jealous, who is really Viola, who's crushing on Duke, who thinks she's a guy. So yeah, same exact premise. She's going undercover as her brother, pretending to be a dude. And then there's all this bullshit rom-com crap that we've all seen a million times. You know, I do love, again, this movie has a strong female lead. This is better than Motorcrossed, a movie that, again, feels very much like Motorcrossed. The humor is better in this movie. The acting is better in this movie. The premise is absolutely ridiculous, which we kind of know, even with Motorcrossed. So many times people should have figured this out, that this is a woman. So many different things that she does and says that, like, and then she, like, changes her voice a lot and goes back, and it's just like, oh my God. So people are really stupid in this world, but I don't know, it works. You know, and there's several moments where I was laughing. There's some good comedic moments in this movie. It's just very predictable, though, and extremely cheesy, and it's of its time. It's a dumb, fun rom-com, and that's really about it. Yeah. You know, nobody is like amazing and stellar in this movie. They're all just kind of playing stereotypes, but at the same time, it goes against stereotypes with having a strong female lead. I do like that. Channing Tatum in this movie as well is nervous about talking to girls when he's Channing frickin' Tatum. I mean, it does go against stereotypes, and that's kind of a good thing. It's kind of a cool thing that they did that. You know, I'll give this movie some props. Is this movie I ever need to see again? No. It's just fine. It's bland. It's kind of boring at times. It's cheesy, ridiculous. I'll give it a 5 out of 10. I enjoyed myself, but it's nothing spectacular. Next up, guys, Ghosted, the new movie on Apple TV Plus, starring Chris Evans and Ana, I can't say it. Ana de Armas. I think I've been drinking today, guys. By the way, if you think I'm a lightweight, I'm not. This is 8% alcohol. I have cut down on drinking since I moved here. I also did not drink at all while my ankle was swollen and, sprained. So, okay, maybe I am a lightweight. I just described me being a lightweight. But this does have a lot of alcohol in it, so yeah. Anyways, guys, Ghosted. I saw the trailer for this movie and went, this movie's going to be very generic, very everything we've seen before, just switching gender roles. But hey, Ana de Armas and Chris Evans have been in a movie together. It might be good. This movie's very though. It is absolutely what you think it's going to be, but kind of worse. It is a commercial for Apple. So many Apple products used. The very first thing you see with Chris Evans, he's using the Apple tracker doodads that you can just put on things. Like, it's immediately just like a commercial for Apple. Chris Evans' character is so annoying and dumb in this movie. Again, I kind of like this playing against stereotypes in the sense that Chris Evans is like the needy guy who just wants a relationship, wants to be loved, blah, 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 blah. But he's so annoying in this movie. I cannot stand his character in this movie. The chemistry between Ana de Armas and Chris Evans is terrible. I can't believe that this is like the second, third movie they've ever done together because it seems like they've never met each other. It's insane. It really doesn't work. So many cameos in this movie. One in particular towards the end that's just there to be there and does not need to be there. One towards the middle, though, that had several cameos within like 3 minutes. And it was hilarious. It totally worked. And it was funny. But then there's other cameos that just are there to be there. And like, there's no points to cameos. Have a point to your cameo. I hate that. I hate that in movies when there's cameos and there's just no point to them. I don't understand why these two people would be together even in the movies aspect. It doesn't work to me. The ending is so ridiculous and dumb and over the top and clearly on green screen. So poorly done with special effects. There's a MacGuffin in this movie that is so MacGuffin it might as well have just been called MacGuffin. It's the same as all these things. It ends the exact same way you would think it would. It's just ridiculous, poorly constructed action sequences. The humor is really not funny. A couple moments there went, haha, funny. But for the most part, this movie had me rolling my eyes. I did not enjoy this movie at all. It's an Apple TV watch, though. If you get it free because you got a new iPhone or you found a thing because you did a meetup app thing, maybe watch it then. But it's not a good movie. This is not worth your time. I'm so glad this didn't go out in theaters and people didn't waste their money spending on it. I can't believe I just said that because I want movies to be in theaters, but this movie's crap and garbage and not good. And if you were hoping to get Ana de Armas or Chris Evans partially naked in this movie, you're not getting that. So, I was hoping at least we'd get some more skin from Ana de Armas or something to make it worthwhile. Or even for the ladies, more Chris Evans or something. Nope, none of that. This movie's not the worst movie in the world, I will say that. There's some fun moments of the movie. There's enough story here to make it interesting, but the movie's kind of I'll give it the same as last one. I'll give it a 5 out of 10. It's not bad, but I'm not ever watching it again. It's just, I don't know. It's just, From the same director of Rocketman, too. I was kind of disappointed by that. I love Rocketman so much. I would have thought this movie would have been better because of that, but it's just not. Last movie, guys, that we're going to talk about today, Trainspotting. This is a movie that I have been wanting to watch for a very, very long time and just never got around to. Danny Boyle movie. Premise basically is about a group of heroin users. Ian McGregor is the main character, and he decides he needs to stop. He needs to go cold turkey and stop. And it's basically just that. Him recovering while his friends who are still on it, or some of them not on it, some of them going off of it at the same time he is, going through it. And it is kind of a dark comedy at times. It is very much a heart-wrenching, horrible movie to watch at times, like almost a Requiem with a Dream kind of feel to it, showing what could happen if you are this drug user and destroy your life in the way that these characters do. But yeah, it is a hard movie to watch, but it also does kind of have dark comedic moments, and it also is kind of this friendship kind of movie. The cast is so great in this movie. Danny Boyle's direction is phenomenal. The writing is great in this movie. This movie was very cheap budget, very low budget, but it uses that in such a way. It does look cheap. It does look like a low budget movie, but it doesn't look cheap necessarily. It looks, every bit of money on it that was spent on it is on the screen, and you see that in this movie, which I think is great. Depiction of drug use, it does it in such a great way. It doesn't make it just a movie that makes you feel ucky. You understand why these people are doing the things that they're doing, and it just does it in a beautiful way. I don't know how else to say it. It just, everything is done very well, and everything feels like it needs to be there. And like it does have a place, and I do like that. Chemistry between all these actors are great. Everything that happens feels like it happens for a reason. There is like comedic aspects to it at times, like dark comedy. There's horrific moments that happen at times, very real world things that happen at times that you know has happened, and it's heart-wrenching and terrible, and it just mixes it all together very well. It's so well written, so beautifully directed. Everything just feels so purposeful and unique and interesting. I can't wait to watch the sequel to this. It came out a few years ago, and I just never watched it for some reason. I never watched the first one. I never got around to watching the second one. So I'm interested to see how I like the second one as well. This is a really good movie. Rewatchability factor, I don't know that I ever want to watch this again. This is a bit of a tough watch at times, particularly one scene with a baby that is just awful, and it is so hard to watch, but it does feel so realistic, and yeah, it's a very interesting story with addiction that very similar to Requiem with a Dream, where it's very well done, really good movie, but I don't ever want to watch it again, and that makes it hard for me to give it a high rating. It is a movie that will stick with me though. As far as negatives go, I think a couple characters are a little stupid and ridiculous, and I wish there was a little bit more to them at times. And the pacing is a bit off for me. And again, just the fact that I'm just never going to want to watch this movie again brings me to a 7 with this one. Really good movie. I just don't quite love it, and I just don't ever want to watch it again. That's my biggest issue. So yeah, guys, that is the last thing we have to talk about. This is an hour-long episode, so I apologize for going a little long. I like to keep these at like 30 minutes, but it's been a while. Trying to watch more movies. Believe it or not, this was the last 2 weeks worth. 10 movies? I haven't been watching as many movies. Trying to do other stuff. Trying to get out to meet people. Trying to make friends. I'm not very good at it. I'm also trying to, I get out and get my, dental stuff taken care of, my health care kind of stuff taken care of, take care of my apartment, take care of Chester, who is currently sleeping on his pillow by the bed, or by the window. Yeah, Chester's a good boy. But yeah, guys, life's been crazy. So I hope you understand, and I hope to have another video up very soon. Hi, Chester. Yes, we'll go play and do stuff very soon. Anyways, guys, I hope you have yourself a great day. Keep having yourself very unique, delicious beers like I'm having now. This is so good. If you're ever in Wisconsin going to the brew, or if you're ever in Eau Claire, Wisconsin going to the brew, go to the Brewing Project. Even if you like beer, you might like this beer. It's so good. But anyways, guys, that about does it for the show. We're getting over an hour now. So I'm going to stop talking, stop ranting, stop going crazy, stop talking about life. And I'm going to tell you guys, have a great day. Peace out. Don't do anything I wouldn't do, or do, I don't care.